Hi everyone, it's Erica from Nitty Science. I just was having technical difficulties as usual whenever I try to do these Facebook Live events, but hopefully we got it under control now. So while people roll in to join us for the first Nitty Science workshop, I'm going to scroll down on the Facebook page over here so that way when comments and questions roll in, I'll have access to those if you want to do that. So in the meantime, I'm going to be going ahead and giving a couple free Word documents that I'm going to be going over in the workshop today. So if you want to head over to TPT, just go into my free category in my store and you can download those real quick. If not, you can wait till after and I'll share that link with you. You don't need them to go to the workshop because I'll be sharing those along. Okay. Also, while you guys are joining us, go ahead and just give me a hi or a thumbs up so that way I can see that this is scrolling. There might be a little bit of a delay, so if I don't get to your question or if I don't answer, please understand that as well. Okay. In the meantime, what I want to do and how we're going to run this Science Teachers Workshop from Nitty Gritty Science is actually just that. I would like to go ahead and my idea behind this is I've tried blogging, I've tried sending out emails trying to explain the Nitty Gritty Science curriculum. I've tried to do that by sharing teacher tips or things that I've learned over the years of teaching, and that's just not my style. My style is actually teaching and working with the teachers. And since this is a new platform that I need to use now because I'm not in the classroom and I'm not in the setting to work with pre-service teachers and I'm not there to be a mentor teacher anymore, I felt that this idea was the best way for me to go ahead and host a workshop so that way I could share some of what I know with you, share some things that have worked for me over the years, share some mistakes that I've done and that way what I've done to combat those mistakes, and then just kind of share as time goes on the Nitty Gritty Science curriculum, how I teach it, tips and tricks, and we'll actually be going on the camera over the weeks and doing some of the activities, doing the demos. I'll be having you work right alongside with me if you want. I'll tell you ahead of time which things to download, and we'll just work them just on like we would at a science teacher workshop. So without further ado, welcome. Again, my name is Erica from Nitty Gritty Science if you're just joining us. I decided to start hosting a Nitty Gritty Science Teachers Workshop for everyone that wants to join us on Facebook Live. And I want to do a little housekeeping like we would at the beginning of a workshop, and then we're just going to get right into it. So first for housekeeping, for those of you who have purchased the Nitty Gritty Science Physical Science curriculum, the Life Science curriculum, both of the complete courses are done. So make sure you go back and re-download those so you get all of the latest updates since I've been working really hard to get everything finished over the summer. Those of you who are doing Earth Science, I have 2 demo lab and science station chapters left, and then that one will be complete. Hoping to have that done for you by next week, so everybody should be squared away and ready to go for the beginning of the school year. So that was our first thing of housekeeping I wanted to go over. The second thing I wanted to go over with you is how we're going to roll out the workshops. Since we're in July now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plan to do the series of workshops just as we were going in the order of school. So let's just go ahead and get started into tonight's workshop. And what we're going to do on tonight's workshop is getting prepped for the school year. And I don't see any questions or comments, so I'm going to go ahead and refresh really quick just to see if anything has come up before I get started in this. If you give me just a few minutes and I'll just check this again and make sure that we are still live since, like I said, I do constantly have technical difficulties. And I want to make sure that I'm still airing and not just sitting here talking to myself. Okay. So Great. Wonderful. Hello, Amy, and hello, Jennifer and Dora. So wonderful to see you all. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this. I'm hoping that I'm still live. My laptop is frozen, so we'll see if that works. Okay, so tonight's workshop is this. This is what we're going to do. I do not like to give my students a whole big list of materials they need to buy. They don't want it. I don't want to be going through everything. And I have found over the years that I have asked the students to bring in 3 things when they start the school year with me. And like I said, these workshops are things that have worked for me over time. This was not how I started my first years of teaching, and over time this system has worked for me. So I'm only using this as suggestions with you, and then if you want to use it, great. If not, if you want to do your own spin on it, that's fantastic too. But the reason I started this system is because when I was in the classroom, a lot of questions roll in when I talk about the interactive notebook, and this is what I use. The second question that comes up after how to use the interactive notebook is, what do I do with all the other papers that I give the students? Do I put those in the interactive notebook as well? Do I have them glue it in? And so this is my solution to the other sheets that we use. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to have my students do is, I've always told you for the interactive notebook, they're always going to grab a 5-subject notebook with a ring. I don't like to use the composition notebooks, and I can tell you that reason for that later. And the other thing I ask the students to buy is a 2-pocket folder. I'll get into that too. And the third thing I ask students to buy is a pack of colored pencils, because I love color and I want them to use it in their interactive notebooks. So setting the colored pencils aside, we're going to focus on the folder and the notebook. Now the reason you'll see is I always ask my students, if they're in first period, I will go ahead and give that first period a color. I will say, you need to buy a red 5-subject notebook and a red folder. Second period, you're going to get purple. Third period, you're going to get blue, and so on. So I'm going to make each class color coordinated. And this is really for the purpose of myself as a teacher. When I do notebook checks, when I do folder checks, they know that they put everything in the red stack, the blue stack, the purple stack, etc. And all the classes are color coordinated. It's easy to find their pack when they come in and pick up the things in the end. So it's just more for an organizational tip than anything else. Now, the reason I don't let them glue anything else in the interactive notebook is because, as you can see, when an interactive notebook is completely done, look how much breadth we get on that notebook. We add a lot of material to that, so to add more papers and quizzes and tests and glue into that, it's going to be too much. If we did the full year like this, you're going to have this monster baby that the students are going to want to keep. That's going to be kind of like their reference tool in their notebook. And we want to keep it so just their notes are in it, so they can always find their notes, and then their interactive notebook activities are all only in this. And this is all that goes in their interactive notebook. And we'll get to this on another science workshop. So tonight's focus is, the notebook is only for the interactive notebook, and the 2-pocket folder is for everything else. So how we're going to organize the 2-pocket folder when we're getting started is, you're going to hand out a table of contents just like this for the beginning of the school year. As you can see, it's numbered down the side. You got your assignment name, and they can add the grade in. What you want to start doing, and this is kind of a mindset that the teacher needs to get in as well. Anytime you hand out a worksheet, a test, a review packet, a lab, science stations, etc., you are going to start having the students number them. So as you can see here, when I start right at the beginning of the year, we're going to start with Nature of Science. After we've done the interactive notebooks and a couple activities, they're going to go ahead and get a quiz. I'm going to have them number that quiz number 1. So that means when they get the quiz on number 1 in their table of contents, they're going to go ahead and write quiz, method of science, and they're going to keep it in their table of contents. Okay? The next time you pass back a paper, as soon as they get it back, they're going to get in the habit of putting number 2 on it, and etc. You're going to get in the habit of always have them number the assignment in the top corner, and as soon as they get the assignment, they're going to write the name of it on the table of contents. This will keep them organized throughout the quarter. As you can see, as things come back, they know which order to put them in because they've numbered them up in the corner, and they can go ahead and keep track of their own grade, and they can start following down and seeing what they're missing, what they didn't get in, what's graded, what's not graded, etc. So this is real simple for me too. When I go to grade the folder, as soon as I go through, they're going to have that table contents list, and I can just take the folder and I can just flip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I can just flip through the numbers very quickly to see that everything is in their folder and is there. This will go on for the entire quarter, and usually you don't have more than 25 assignments because a lot of the assignments are in your interactive notebook as well. A lot of the assignments are going to include your chapter test, your task cards, your stations, your labs, etc. When the quarter is done, what you're going to do is we're going to take this whole stack out, and you're going to get a brand new table of contents that they're going to put in. So they start over, and you're going to just park quarter 2 on this. You are going to decide as a teacher which pieces you want your students to keep. I always ask my students to go ahead and keep all the chapter tests so they can review those and have those for review at the end of the year. So all the chapter tests after each quarter are going to go over here. These are going to be all the materials that they're going to keep as a reference throughout the year. Everything else from the quarter can go in the trash, and we're going to start over again, numbering down from 1 down the page. Okay? Is there any questions? So I have them right here. Melanie asked, curious why you don't just have them put all in their interactive notebook. She has trouble getting them in. And the reason, Melanie, as I was saying, once you start adding just the activities into the interactive notebook, as you can see, this is the entire year of the Life Science Interactive Notebook, 5 subject right here. And you can see the breadth that is already added just by adding notes. And these are not glued in notes. These are written notes, and they add a page on this side. So you can see a lot of bulk is added to that interactive notebook. And so it would be too much. And plus, we want this to be a reference tool, their own textbook that a student makes. So we want them to be able to have everything else organized here. And it's not that much more for them to carry out in just a 2-pocket folder. Okay? So this is one of the easiest things to do, and they can clean it out right at the end. Just the number system in the corner helps you check super fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 16 things in there. They're good to go. They're missing 13. All you do is circle 13. Where is it? And they can go look for it. You don't have to do it. The one thing that I do want to say, though, on that is that it is pretty important for people who miss just to pick a big master list, and I just tape this right on the board in the front of the room. So at the same time when I pass out a paper to the first period of the day, I tell them this is number 6. I walk right over, I put number 6, science stations, nature of science, it's in there, and already they can go up and check this table of contents on the front board in case they missed a day, maybe they didn't organize properly. That's there. I don't have to sit and answer questions for them. I don't have to help them go through their folder. All I say is go over to the table of contents on the board, check your table of contents with mine, see if everything's in order with the numbers, and everything should be on track. All the students have the same number on the exact same pages, so they all go aligned together. All the students in that class have the same color. If you missed it before, if you're just joining us, I color coordinate each period. I tell each period, and I tell the color what to get. So first period, I would say everybody needs red. Second period, everybody needs purple. Third period, everybody needs blue. So in case you missed that part too. Okay? So if you're just joining us now, we're still going through the Science Teacher Workshop by Nitty Gritty Science. Just to let you know, I will let this run for about 24 hours after the feed, and then after that I'll take it down until our next Science Workshop Live. Okay, So yes, Tanya, you were saying a red folder, blue folder, that's by period. So just to answer your question, that's exactly what we're going to do. Color coordinate your periods so they have the same colored notebook with the same folder for each period. So that way you can color coordinate your classes. This could be aimed for any grade. I see the question. This could be if anywhere from upper elementary to high school to keep them organized. And the only reason I'm doing the notebook is if you are a science interactive notebook person like myself, this is where the notebook is coming in. You can use it if you just aren't a science interactive notebook and you're just doing notes too. But the notebook is for the notes and the interactive notebook activities only, not for tests, not for math, not for English, not for social studies. Science interactive notebook only. And I make that very clear to my students. And this, I'm going to make them have a lot of pride in this notebook. Nothing goes in here, nothing comes out either. You don't pull loose leaf papers from this, you don't tear anything out, okay? I really want them to get the idea that this is golden. Don't mess with this throughout the year. And then the 2-pocket folder. Okay. So, any questions on that? I'm seeing some scroll up. The other thing that I want to go ahead and while we're thinking about getting organized, we are sending this list home to the students. Maybe if you are lucky enough to have the students' names already, you can send them to the address. If not, and you have to just send out a generic list and the people can go online and find it, I would also encourage you to send out, the second thing I want to talk about on our workshop is a letter to the parents. And we really want to get these parents involved. We're not asking them or inviting them to the classroom, but we really want to get them involved by cleaning out their pantries, cleaning out their junk drawers, cleaning out their garages. And as science teachers, we want it. So we want to be friendly in how we ask for it. And I think I have found over the time that by asking at the beginning of the year, when everybody's in their mode of getting back to school, what kind of things do we need? What do my kids need? What do I need to send into school with them? This is a good time to ask parents for their donations. Because with the Nitty Gritty Science curriculum and maybe a lot of the curriculum you use, we are doing your inquiry-based labs where we're using standard lab equipment and materials. But as a lot of my science stations go, and a lot of you are doing the STEM activities, where the creation station is more of a STEM activity, you're doing maker labs and the maker spaces, etc. We're using a lot of household items to keep it cheap and to keep it accessible for the students. So I'm sending home this letter to the family of our future scientists, and I'm going to really get them thinking, please support us. You are what makes the science program work. And I'm asking, look at all these things I'm asking for. I mean, tons. And I'm making this editable for you and I'm sending it home. You can edit, you can change what you want. But I'm asking for it all. I'm asking for balloons. I'm asking for aluminum foil. I'm asking for broken holiday lights. I'm asking for old CDs and toothpicks and chopsticks and dowel rods and shoe boxes, egg cartons, seed packets, anything that you can think of that would be a consumable that a lot of us just already have in our pantry and our junk drawers. The parents want to help, especially when the kids are out of elementary and the secondary. They want to know how they can support you, but they have busy lives, so what can they do to support your program? They'll be happy to send this stuff in for you. And that way you can start organizing with those shoe boxes that you asked for and start labeling the supplies and everything that you have. So go ahead and send that letter in to your parents. So now while we're getting prepped and ready for the school year, I've given you 2 things to think about. You want to think about asking your students for 3 things. You're going to ask them for a 2-pocket folder, a 5-subject notebook if you're doing the interactive notebook, and you're going to be sending home this letter to families of your students, asking them while they're thinking about getting ready for back to school to send in all of these items for their junk drawers and from their pantries and their garage so you can start stocking up for the year. Because the more you have, the more you can lay out during the creation stations of the science labs and of the STEM labs. And the kids have a lot more materials to choose from, which kind of opens up their imagination when they can see an array of materials that they're allowed to choose from to go ahead and build those items and build those models and build all the the contraptions we're asking them to launch things and to shoot things and rockets. They are really going to have a great time with that. So the more materials, the better. And you'd be surprised just the innovation that these students come up with when you give them the materials that you would never think would even work in the contraption or the model, and they can use it and they make it work. So a lot of fun. The more the merrier. So keep that letter. And so what I've done for you is I've kind of keep this science teacher workshop short tonight because I kind of want to get started and introduce the idea and show you kind of what things I'd like to share with you. And so what I've done is I've made both the table of contents and the family letter available to you. It's on my Teachers Pay Teacher store. If you are already on there, head over to my store. It's under the free category. It's only going to be available for 24 hours because then I'll get something up for the next science teacher workshop. If you wait till after this live feed, I'll go ahead and I'll put the link on there for you so that way you can see it there as well. Again, they're only going to be up for 24 hours, so grab them now. It's just the 2 Word documents, but you know I love to save you guys time. I like to have you enjoy your summer still, so it's all editable, so that way you can change the subject at the top, you can change the quarter, you can change if you want to add a different column, and again, for your parent-teacher letter, if you want to add more materials at the bottom, make sure you change your school name in there, add your signature on the bottom. And if you do get things from parents and that you know who they are, it's always wonderful. Have your students just randomly write thank you letters. Just have them each write a thank you letter in your classroom. That doesn't have to be personalized to anybody. Just everybody take time. Thank you for supporting our science class. Have them draw on it. Make some science doodles on it. And just save them. With 120 kids in your grade level, you're going to have 120 thank you cards that you can pick and pull from. So whenever somebody sends in equipment, when everybody sends in some materials to help you, grab one of those beautiful thank you cards that the students made and send it on its way. It will be much appreciated and it will encourage people to help you out more as the years go by when they see that you're thankful for what you've sent into what they've sent into the classroom. And you can always take pictures of things you're making too, post them to your class Facebook page, post them to Instagram, and let people see what you're doing with those materials as you work through the recreation station and the science stations and the labs, etc. Okay? So, as we wrap up tonight, let me just kind of explain my thought process or my plan for these science teacher workshops. I would really love to hold these workshops weekly or at least bi-weekly, okay? And I will be giving you the theme ahead of time. So we're going to start with the broader themes for the next couple workshops. And the next workshop is going to be based around setting up the interactive notebooks, getting the interactive notebooks ready, getting the bins ready for the interactive notebook, how to do that, how to organize that. That way, that was going to be set up and ready for the beginning of the school year. Then the next broad category, when I throw Facebook Live up, is going to be kind of setting up the entire curriculum. A lot of people say, how do you teach this? Can you give me a unit plan? Can you give me a lesson plan for that? And I have been teaching for years, and I will tell you, when I do a pacing guide, which people are asking for, and please map it all out for me, I'm just going to be honest. Never once from the beginning of the year when I've started pacing guide have I ever stayed on track. So what I am going to do for you when we start talking about the entire curriculum in a couple weeks is I'm going to give you a pattern to follow. And this is a tried and true pattern. And if you follow this pattern for each unit that we're going to introduce, this pattern will work for you. And now you're going to start being able to see you can plug in each unit into this pattern. And that way the students understand what's coming in the pattern. They might not know what lab is coming or what science station activity is coming, but you're going to get the pattern, the students are going to get the pattern, and it is going to make for a very cohesive and successful science year for you. So stay tuned for that in a couple weeks. And then After we get those two broader categories rolled out with the interactive notebook and the entire curriculum, we're going to start the school year, and we're going to start breaking down the units one at a time, introducing the labs, introducing the demos, doing some demos. Let's do some interactive notebook activities. I'm going to let you know what we're doing ahead of time, and if you want, get the materials, get the scissors, get the glue, get whatever we're going to be working on, and join along, and that way you can just work step up by step with me as I do it online live with you in our Nitty Gritty Science Teacher Workshops. So with that being said, I hope that you are as excited as I am to get this rolling for the school year. I think this is going to be a much better platform to get the ideas across, to answer questions, and as things go on with the Facebook Lives and these events, just keep asking questions and making comments, because even if I don't get to them tonight, I can go ahead and answer them later, and I can save those questions, and they might fit in perfectly that I can answer those on our next Science Workshop Live. So right now I'm going to plan on our next Science Workshop Live being next Tuesday, and I'll kind of play around with the time. Some people on the Pacific Coast were saying they're at 5:30 and it's a little early, so we might push it to 9. I'd like to hear your comments on that. Would that work for you or not? Go ahead and let me know so we can find the best time for everybody to meet for this Science Teacher Workshop, because I would love to keep this going, and I love hearing from you and getting all your comments. So yes, I'll send out announcements. To get the announcements when the Science Facebook events are happening for the Nitty Gritty Science Teacher Workshops, you can either follow my Facebook page, Nitty Gritty Science, that you're on right now. I'll always post it there as an event. Or you can sign up for my newsletter on nittygrittyscience.com, where you get a lot of free, fun ideas, and it will help you get started with the curriculum if you're just now being introduced to the Nitty Gritty Science curriculum. Okay? So it was super fun, and thank you so much for joining the first Nitty Gritty Science Teacher Workshop. I hope to see you next week around the same time, and I'll send out those announcements soon. And again, don't forget, head over to my store on Teachers Pay Teachers, go to Nitty Gritty Science, go under the free category, and download those 2 Word documents that we just went over tonight. And after this live broadcast is done, I'll make sure to add the link to the feed as well, so you can click it there. This will be available for 24 hours, and the free documents will also be available for 24 hours. So again, have a wonderful night. Thank you for joining me, and I can't wait to see you next week. Take care.